Alright, fanatics, welcome to Flow with the Markets Wednesday, volume 249. We are gonna have a look at the market right now, how we left it on Saturday, see how the market has developed so far, and what kind of opportunities we are being presented. So without further ado, let's actually just jump into it. Now, of course, we right now had the first series of PMIs, that is the European and the GBP PMIs. Later on, we're having the Canadian interest rate and also the US PMIs that are probably going to be the biggest mover for today. Now, when you're having news like this at 4:45, this is pretty much towards like when I usually stop trading. It could mean two things. Either that news release is going to hit your take profit or stop loss if there was a setup provided before that, or that news release is going to pretty much give you the setup so that you can look to strike for a little bit later. Okay, but I think today so far is going to pretty much show us what is going to be happening tomorrow, because tomorrow we also have a lot of USD news, so definitely tradable. And then on Friday we also have this PCE price index, which is also super important. So of course, with that being said, as I said on Saturday, the trading days for me are going to be from Wednesday going onward. So let's see what is happening so far. Now, on the DXY, if you remember, we are taking that weekly liquidity here, and we're right now pulling back into the weekly imbalance, which is pretty much that main analysis that we had. Oh, look at how that played out. It's just perfect. And right now, let's see if my lines are going to, to potentially work out. So we are just tapping into that weekly imbalance. We pretty much tapped that on Tuesday. Today, we're right now sweeping the previous daily high. We came in once, we came in twice. But again, it's still not ready. The structure and order flow of the market is still overall bullish, especially on the hourly time frame. We have this hourly bullish imbalance as well to potentially cause the market to stop. So what I'm essentially looking for right now is signs. Is it going to start dropping from that weekly imbalance, or is it going to start pushing higher? Because I'm always thinking in terms of both outcomes. So far, I really like the daily time frame, because the daily time frame hasn't made any daily bullish imbalances to potentially suggest that we want to go higher. So that is very good. But what I essentially want to see right now is, for example, the market to tap into this hourly, to react from that, and then to potentially start guiding me lower, because the highest probability trades are going to occur all the way down here. What you're about to trade right now is a consolidation. This is the transition from the market, of course, tapping into weekly zone, distributing, accumulating, whatever it wants to do. And then as it starts dropping, that is when you want to start getting involved. So my tip for you right now is avoid trying to catch the top. The market is not ready to commit. And just because we're tapping into our area of interest, where we're potentially looking to get involved, this is a hard time from area of interest. So it's going to take a hard time for him to potentially, of course, start reversing. So I am personally waiting for minimum 1 hourly structure and order flow getting bearish, preferably 4 hourly time frame to start rocking lower. If that doesn't happen, of course, and if we start printing bullishness, guess what? I'm gonna go long. Okay, but so far we don't get longs, we also don't get shorts. So the DXY right now is very 50-50, which is something that I don't like, because if we jump onto EU, comparing what is overall happening on EU so far this week, and then putting the DXY is not as bullish as EURUSD has been bearish. So we had this hourly bearish imbalance drawn on Saturday. The market opened, it tapped into that, consolidated for quite some time, and then on Tuesday, it just started rushing. I haven't taken any trade simply because I didn't get any setups right now. And you might feel a little bit FOMO in situations like this, be like, oh man, the market is flushing, I should get involved. Like, how come I didn't get involved in that move? And that is pretty much a flawed mindset that you have. Not every move is your move, okay? And I have gotten so patient that I'm pretty much willing to sacrifice this whole week, but simply I am just waiting for that one good setup that is just going to ring a bell in my mind, like ping, that is the setup that I'm looking for. And so far, from Monday all the way until today, I am not getting that ring from the market. It is just unclear. So EURUSD is tapping into that weekly bullish imbalance. It also has this one. So is it going to drive into that weekly? Is it going to stop from this weekly? Well, I think if it fails this one, it's very likely gonna turn bearish. And this one could potentially then turn into a reaction point. So far, we're having a very nice expansion candle on the weekly, which is super bearish. If you look to the left, we're right now tapping into this overall sell to buy. So that is a lot of support to the left. We are also in the candle 3 potentially making a daily bearish imbalance. That to me is going to be a very big red flag for buyers on EU. And then of course, if today closes like this, tomorrow I'm going to look for a pullback and then to potentially sell it tomorrow or on Friday. So far I'm only seeing bearish signs on EU. And again, since we tapped this hourly imbalance, we started making new hourly zones as well. So here's a hourly zone here. There is a hourly zone here, but nothing is being tapped, which sucks. So I didn't get even on the 1 hourly time frame. If you look throughout this whole leg, there wasn't a single 1 hourly pullback to pull me back into an imbalance that I can potentially trade from. Right now, it didn't even pull back into a hourly zone to potentially take a short from. So it just keeps flushing, which is, of course, sometimes it happens, and that's okay. You don't have to be in this move. You gotta wait for your move. Now, in 3 hours and 37 minutes, if we have this hourly imbalance as well, that is definitely something that I'm gonna be willing to trade from. Right now, we're having this 1 hourly zone, and I just told my team that I don't really want to be trading from that 1 hourly zone because the market is extended. It's tapping into a weekly zone. It is tapping right now into daily zones to the left that offer a lot of support. So just this 1 hourly zone here after taking out Asian low and previous daily low and everything to me is not a high probability. So personally, I am just waiting. I don't care that this move is happening if I'm not getting a setup. I would care if I miss an amazing setup. That was according to my plan. Okay, but right now, just flushing, I don't care. I'm gonna wait potentially 3 hours and 30 minutes to see if that hourly imbalance is going to form. If it doesn't form, then I could target this guy. Okay, so if this gets invalidated and if I start getting some bullishness, I can then target this guy. But if this gets formed and I get bearishness, I'm gonna go short. So that is how I look at EU right now. But again, it's all about the flow because it just simply doesn't give a setup yet. GBPUSD tapping into weekly imbalance, tapping into that weekly very nice sell to buy. All right, so it looks very interesting. On the daily time frame, we had this daily bearish imbalance, but right now the market is running away from it, that turning into a runaway gap. So the market not really pulling back into this. Sweeping today the previous daily low, so we can definitely also mark this out. 4 hourly time frame, no bearishness on the FOH. So of course we had some bearishness here, tapped in, consolidated, and then right now it's continuing to flush lower. Okay, so on this broker there is a very tiny, I am not even sure if there is an imbalance here. I don't think so. Yeah. So currently it's not good for shorts because you don't get any short zones to short from, and it's not good for longs because it's not ready. All right, so in that case you can drop to the 1 hourly time frame, but even the 1 hourly time frame is a mess right now. It's not making anything, and sure, it did make a move down. Is this move down your move down? It's absolutely not. If you look carefully into it, there wasn't even a single 1 hourly zone to trade from. So again, no trades, and you really have to be fine with this. So on GU again, for the bullish scenario, I'm just looking for 4 hourly imbalances to start impulsing higher to guide me into that daily. That's it. For the bearish scenario, I'm looking for 4 hourly bearish imbalances to guide me lower, potentially towards this line. That is this high here as a break and retest, right? And then of course, if we do have something to fill a little bit lower, there is that daily imbalance, there is that daily sell to buy as well. You can always find the targets. But the key that you have to wait and find is the market really wanting to go there? Currently, absolutely no signs. Let's hope that later today, the US PMI is going to shake the market a little bit. Now, Aussie dollar is a different type of beast. And I don't have my analysis here because I did them on FXCM, I think. Yeah. So we had weekly imbalance. The market just broke it. And then this week is just rocketing higher. Lower. I thought it's going to go higher. So, of course, first we had this daily supply and demand sandwich into that weekly zone. I thought it's going to pull back here, maybe react, and then let's see what it's going to do. But no, since Monday, this price is just flushing. It's flushing and it's getting very close to this low. That is the overall kind of a major weekly low. That is our drawn liquidity. But how are we getting there? We're just flushing. There wasn't, once again, a single trade opportunity that I could have taken on AU. So am I stressed right now that I'm missing this short trade? Absolutely not, because this is not my short trade. I didn't get a single trade according to my plan to take a short on AU. So right now, I guess this low is the drawn liquidity. When it gets taken, then I'm going to be looking for a daily pullback. So we're having daily zone here. We are potentially going to have another daily zone today, potentially. Let's see if, of course, if it forms. So I would potentially want to see something like that on AU. Right now, it's not tradable. It chopped around for an eternity, came in, came out. So is it right now going to enter into a bearish cycle? Absolutely possible. But first, I want to see it happen. All right, so something similar here. Chop, 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 went down. And then as it starts going up, this trade, for example, was a very high probability because it already established the order flow, knowing that it's going towards that high. Currently, there is no order flow. It's just a flush. So again, waiting. NZDUSD as well. It just started dropping. Like it's tapping into that old weekly imbalance. It's just flushing lower. No daily pullbacks. And yeah, for example, here we had, pretty much on Monday, we already had this forward imbalance. The market just pulled back into it and just started dropping. And since then, it hasn't stopped. So, I mean, yeah, it's a very good call, but I would never traded it like that on Monday. Okay, taps into the weekly. It actually made another forward bearish here. It just continues to drop. And right now, it has another forward bearish here. Crazy. A very crazy flush, a very big change of sentiment. Is it because of Trump? Is it because of something else? I don't know. Okay. But right now, again, if you look to the left, there is nothing much to stop price towards this low. Apart from there is this daily bullish imbalance that hasn't been retested, that we're just tapping in today. But you can see that we're not really responding from that at all. Right, so I think this could be nice. I'm just gonna set an alert here for if it taps the forward zone, and I'm gonna look for a short if it taps here. But I usually dislike trading extended markets like this. I always want to have a push. I always want to have a pullback, right? I always want to have a setup to then target the high. All right, and if I just get flushes and flushes and flushes like this, the market gets lower and lower and lower. I personally don't like it. But that is NZDUSD. It's also having like daily imbalances above it that could definitely get reached, but they're gonna get reached if the forward time frame fails first. Okay, then we get gold. So did I do gold also on another time frame? Which one? On another broker? Was it FXCM? Yeah. Okay. So on gold, we're having this very, very, very tiny weekly bullish imbalance that the market is right now tapping into, and it's reacting quite nicely. Daily zone, we're tapping into this daily. Okay, so this brokers just changed once again. So you can see how my imbalance was drawn. Oh no, I'm sorry. This candle formed on Monday. I was probably just forecasting a daily imbalance that actually formed. Okay, the market is right now tapping into that daily imbalance, but it's also running away from a weekly bullish imbalance. So what's the bias? We don't know yet. Okay. Then we drop to the forward time frame, and the market is as choppy as ever. There is no forward bullishness from that weekly zone, and there is no forward bearishness yet from that daily zone. There is a very, very minuscule forward imbalance here. Like, can't even draw it, right? I don't have a clear bias right now. I'm just scanning the market these last 3 days, and I have no idea what's it doing, and I have pretty much no bias and no setups. So that is the perfect time to potentially step aside, just observe, and once again, wait for those setups that are just like ping in your mind. That is a setup that I have to take. Or of course, when it's choppy like this, look to trade different markets if you really want to trade, although you're probably going to mess up. So gold right now, I want to see if this daily zone will hold or if the weekly zone will hold. How will the weekly zone hold? By the market right now, very nicely creating a forward bullish imbalance to then potentially guide me into this one. I need to see the forward time frame to start rocking, right? I need to see it start doing things like this: forward bullish, pullback, forward bullish here, pullback, boom, bullish, pullback, right? To make some structure. Right now, it's just choppy. It doesn't have a single imbalance here, which just suggests to me that the buyers are not strong, but also right now the sellers are also kind of absent. So it's not ready. This is what I want to see. And of course, if it wants to drop, fully bearish. Those are my criterias. And I'm just waiting right now. I'm closing the chart and I'm waiting. USD JPY. USD JPY is the absolute only pair that provided the textbook setup this week. We had this daily bearish imbalance that formed on Friday. Monday tapped it, confirmed that it wants to hold, and then it's just right now rushing towards the daily drawn liquidity and also the weekly drawn liquidity in the form of that weekly swing point. I really hope some of you capitalize on this one. I had around 3 or 4 community members smashing this USD JPY trade, especially the Asian traders that trade during Asia and also some guys from America who are catching also the Asian session. Tapped into the daily from the daily. So this is what I want you to see on the other pairs that we have right now. Tapping into daily or weekly, let the 4-hourly time frame tell you that it wants to move. There is the 4-hourly time frame printing a bearish imbalance. It tapped in, and then since then it's been a clean ride towards our drawn liquidity. Right? But it showed us that it wants to go there. So currently we are taking a weekly swing point. So I'm going to be looking for a potential daily pullback. Now on the daily we're going to be having right now, so this setup is over. I would recommend that you actually journal that trade, and I really do hope some of you took it. Let me know if you did. We're having this daily zone, okay? So we're taking a weekly zone. So I would prefer for the market to pull back into a daily zone and then potentially start flushing. Because right now if you start trading from a hourly zone, it's definitely possible, but we're taking a lot of liquidity. We're taking daily liquidity here to the left, and we're also taking a massive weekly liquidity here. So this zone is very likely going to do something like this. Tap, react, break, and then guide us into the daily. So this is how I would like to trade USD JPY right now. The move is kind of already over. Right now it's 50-50 because it's taken liquidity. So is it going to pull back? Is it going to continue dropping? You just have to wait and see. But personally, I would love to wait for a pullback. Euro Yen and GBP JPY. I did everything on FXCM. So I have to type it, Euro JPY. There it is. Exactly the same thing, right? So the JPYs this week, not the USDs, were the best movers. Daily imbalance tapped and is just rolling right now. Okay. On the 4-hourly time frame also, like very clear setups. Like I'm probably gonna journal those trades because those are the trades of the week. Daily zones, 4-hourly zones formed, breakout structure, tapping in, and then just rushing lower like crazy, attacking the weekly swing point. Now, unfortunately, once again, it's a little bit over. That setup is over. Make sure to journal it. Taking weekly liquidity, I will wait for this daily imbalance. So I'll let today close, let tomorrow guide you into that, and then look to continue going short. So that is EJ, and that is also going to be GJ. Their move is already done. There's the daily imbalance. Well, I had so many outcomes here. Yeah, but again, I think this one already got tapped the daily imbalance on Friday. Yeah, so it got tapped the daily imbalance on Friday. And then it was all about like waiting to see what it wants to do. But it also gave you that 4-hourly bearish imbalance. Tapped in on Tuesday. Right now it's flushing. And it still does have some space towards this low here. It's also going to form right now a daily bearish imbalance after today. Very likely. It is taking to the left this daily liquidity almost. And on the 4-hourly time frame, it's also having some context. But again, in order for you to trade GJ, you also have to be aware of UJ, which took the weekly liquidity. So very likely all the JPYs are going to collectively pull back. Okay, so you can potentially try to take a short like this, but preferably wait for today to close, tomorrow to guide you into that daily, and then from that daily, be looking for another short. Okay, but the JPYs, I would say they are kind of already done the move. Because if you get one good move per week, that's the good move. It's already done. And then after this move, it's a little bit 50-50. Meanwhile, the USDs haven't done shit yet. So they are potentially about to move. Indices also super tricky. Weekly imbalance is tapping, daily imbalance supply and demand sandwich is tapping. The daily looks like it's holding right now. So that is going to be my drawn liquidity. And if that daily continues to print bearish order flow, and if the 4-hourly time frame actually continues to print that bearish order flow as well, we could eventually target this big zone. That is, was it a monthly zone? Yeah. we can potentially target that monthly zone, okay? Which is, no, so this is going to close that monthly zone in 7 days, but we can already start forecasting it. So currently, I think this low is a very good draw on liquidity. We're having this massive gap to fill. So a trade like that could be very, very, very nice on SPX. So that is what I'm going to be looking for, because it looks like this daily zone is holding and that weekly zone is not really pushing price higher and building that bullish order flow towards all-time highs. So I'm bearish bias on SPX and also bearish bias on NASDAQ. This one is having this weekly low as a draw on liquidity. On the daily time frame, it didn't really pull back into the daily zone. It tried to, but it failed. And right now on the 40 time frame, I thought it's just going to reach that low. It did not. Pulled back a little bit higher. It was very choppy, and right now overnight we're getting this very nice fall gap. We're gonna get another fall imbalance potentially in 22 minutes. So again, something like this could be very nice, but if it just rushes to the liquidity, then I would expect some sort of a pullback. On the daily time frame, we're not getting any daily imbalances yet. So there is a lot of uncertainty with the markets right now, with Trump and Biden. Biden stepped down. Right now, investors are trying to speculate like what's going to happen if Trump gets elected and stuff like this. You see some stocks are moving, some stocks are dropping. But we can see the USD is super uncertain right now. So again, you also have to read the climate a little bit and what is happening. US 30 pulling back towards that weekly imbalance. Oh, that looks good. It printed a daily bearish imbalance. It tapped it on Tuesday, and today it's rolling down. And if we do get some sort of a 4-hourly zones, which we don't really get right now, it's quite choppy, or even 1-hourly zones, but you can see like you don't want to be trading this. That's not your setup, or personally my setup. So I don't care that the market is moving. All I care about is that I didn't get a setup, so I don't worry about these moves. Okay. So pretty much summarizing everything, the market this week is super uncertain. Apart from the JPYs that already made the move, the USDs are still haven't done anything. Sure, EURUSD moved down, GBPUSD not doing shit, and then Aussie and NZD are just flushing like crazy. That is probably something happening more on the macro side of things, like this flush like this, but there is no setup. And right now, as they just keep dropping crazy like this, there is still no setup. So I'm patiently waiting even for today to pass, maybe even for tomorrow to pass. But if I get a good trade on Friday, I'm going to finish the week profitable, potentially. Okay? So wait. My main focus is on EU, forming that daily bearish imbalance to potentially look to trade from that. And meanwhile, if it starts forming like a hourly bearish, right now I will be looking to trade this afternoon if we have a hourly bearish imbalance right here. But if we don't, then potentially I will wait for that daily candle to close, and I'm gonna wait for that daily bearish imbalance to form and either trade into it or away from it. So traders, let me know what you actually think about the market right now. Does it make sense to you? Is it choppy? I really do hope some of you took that those JPY trades. Stay patient and wait for the right setup. Not every setup, not every day, not every week is a trading one. Okay, stay patient and stick to your guns. That's for me. I'm gonna talk to you on Saturday. Until then, trade safe.